Hello you guys, welcome back to As Told by Kenya. In this video, we are here to talk about all things reality, talk about all the reality stuff that I am into. So last week, we discussed the Kim and Kourtney thing, keeping up with Kardashian is absolutely boring as shit, and all of that stuff. Well, we get another episode, and then you guys, like the general public, became hip to what was going on in the whole Kardashian world with the Dolce & Gabbana collab. And then on this episode, you get Kim and Kourtney actually hashing it out and talking about what's going on and why they're both upset, because before everything was just them going back and forth through other people, but now they are actually coming together and they are going to meet. So I have more opinions because a lot of clips came out of, oh, but my wedding, you stole my wedding country. Who performed at my wedding? There was a lot of talk about all that stuff. And so I have some opinions. They are both right. Kim and Kourtney are both right in like some way, but also this is all stupid. You have to keep in mind Dolce & Gabbana sucks. You want to know how I know Kim and Kourtney also think Dolce & Gabbana sucks? Is because Kourtney and Kim were both talking about how they only wanted to wear 90s pieces of Dolce & Gabbana when Dolce & Gabbana was iconic. They didn't want to wear anything that was recent from Dolce & Gabbana. Like, they all know that Dolce & Gabbana ain't been up to nothing. Dolce & Gabbana is a funky ass brand. They both knew that. And then Kim was talking about how like Skims was supposed to do a collab with them, but then Skims didn't want to do it. Kim is not the only person who owns Skims, and I would be curious is the reason why Skims didn't want to do anything with Dolce & Gabbana is because of everything Dolce & Gabbana has been in, and it's not just Kim whose name is on Skim, it's a bunch of people's name who is on Skims. So I'd be curious about that, but that's just me speculating. So they're going back and forth on what's going on. I'm going to start with where Kim is 100% correct. I already told you, I do not believe this idea that Kourtney doesn't care about what anyone has to say about her. Kourtney doesn't care about, validation. She doesn't care what people think. I do not think that is true. I think when Kourtney figured out people loved her with Travis, when people loved that rock and roll thing, she 100% went full on. She leaned into it. It was double dates with Machine Gun Kelly and Megan Fox, when she was doing TikToks with Addison Rae and all that. I think Kourtney likes the attention that comes with certain things that she does, especially the stuff with Travis, and that's why she leans into it. That's why she fully changed her style. So the idea that Kourtney just doesn't care about validation or doesn't care about what people think, I think is completely untrue. I think people read Kourtney completely wrong when they act like Kourtney is just above it. I think if more people cared about the stuff that Kourtney did by herself, she would 100% be for it. The problem that Kourtney has is she doesn't want things that come with her sisters. If you ask me, Kourtney does not fully respect what her sisters do. She doesn't. She never has. She never has. She has never seen what they have done as cool. She does not care. So therefore, she doesn't want her name attached to some of that stuff. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think if you have siblings, we all have stuff that our siblings do. You're like, I would never do that. Like, that's just not. I have siblings right now who would never be on YouTube. They're probably like, love that for Kenya, but like, I would never do that. And I think that's how Kourtney feels about her sister. So Kourtney wants her own things. I disagree with the idea that Kourtney is jealous of Kim. I think that's really easy. It's really easy to say that one sibling is jealous of another sibling. There's always something deeper, and Kourtney and Kim just have deeper issues with that. You have Kourtney, who I don't think fully respects what Kim does and how Kim has made her name. And you have Kim, who thinks Kourtney, she ain't about much of nothing. Kourtney ain't about much of nothing. It was Kim who had to put everybody on her back and take them to freedom. That's how Kim is. So I think it's this push and pull where they both don't fully respect one another. And that's why everything is coming out. And this Dolce & Gabbana thing is really just showing that. I think Kim thinks Kourtney is a little tacky, a little played. That's why she was like, we don't all want to just like rock out. Like, she gagged Kourtney with that because Kourtney, you just got this style 2 days ago. Like I said, feeding into what other people like about you. So like, to say you don't care about validation, I don't know about that. So there's that. But you want to know, I think the most interesting thing said in their little back and forth, Kourtney asked a really good question to Kim, and I think a lot of people would just pass it over as Kourtney being shady, but she asked Kim, like, why do you want the things that you want? Like, why is everything more, and everything is bigger, bigger? And that's honestly my biggest question with Kim Kardashian as well. Kim Kardashian says she does these things. I need to prove myself. I need to prove it for myself. But I don't think that's true. Kim tries to prove things to other people, but the problem with that is, Kim, you have all the money in the world. You have all the success in the world. You're one of the most famous people in the world, and people still don't like you. Like, that's just the thing. People are still not going to respect you. People are still not going to like you. You're doing criminal justice now. You're trying to be a lawyer, and people still don't respect you, and people still don't like you. You've been on the cover of Vogue. You've been on all the lists, and people still don't like you. People still don't respect you. And so when Kourtney asked, what's this craving for more, I thought that was such a good question. And Kim tried to say, like, you just don't get me if you just don't understand why I need to prove things to myself. No, Kim, I don't think you get yourself. I think there's deep insecurity there. There's a deep insecurity of not feeling like you're enough. And you're going to keep chasing that. That was Kourtney's point. Like, if you are just going to keep trying to prove things to people, keep trying to get validation from the peanut gallery, you're going to die trying to get that. And you're never going to be happy. You're never going to be happy because it's never enough for Kim just to be rich. Kim has to be the biggest billionaire in the world. It's never enough for Kim just to have an amazing, line of clothes. It has to be the biggest line of clothes ever. It's not enough for her to get the cover of Vogue. It has to be the biggest cover of Vogue. And it's just like, when are you going to get tired of just wanting everything to be bigger? And you could say, Kim, you're just being a hater. Let her have aspiration. Let her have goals. But the question with goals are, who are you doing them for? If you're willing to do anything to prove to people you can just do it, you'll do everything. You'll do everything. And it's just like, what do you actually gain from this? So like I was telling you guys to begin with, why would Kim take the Dolce & Gabbana thing? I told you before, Dolce & Gabbana needs Kim more than Kim needs Dolce & Gabbana. Yes, that's 100% a clout relationship. Dolce & Gabbana wants Kim in their clothes because it gives them clout. Kim is one of the most famous people in the world. People look at the clothes that Kim wears. They want you more than you should want them. When are you going to be like, I've made it. I'm at the top. I don't need to do certain stuff. When are you going to become okay with you? Like, you get why Kourtney would do something like this, because Kourtney doesn't do a lot of the fashion stuff. So it makes sense for her to be like, let me dip my toe. But Kim, you actually are bigger than a creative direction collab with Dolce and fucking Gabbana. Like I told you guys, that's why I in the last video, I was talking about all the shit that Dolce and Gabbana has been in. Kim don't need them. Kim could 100% work with a better fashion brand, a way better fashion brand. She could wait for an opportunity for a better fashion brand to want her to be the creative director. Like, there's a reason why they was both fighting over 90s archives, because don't nobody want recent Dolce. Like, they need you. This new revamp is 100% on your back. And so ask yourself why you don't even feel like you're good enough to say no to them. You're good enough to be like, I don't need this. And I thought that was so interesting what Kourtney said there, because I'm like, that's so true. And that if you're someone who's always wanting more, you should also ask yourself that. When is enough enough? And it's not in a like nothing is ever enough. Ask yourself why nothing is ever enough. Ask yourself why certain success is never enough success. Ask yourself why a certain amount of money is never enough money. Why a certain type of car is never enough car. Why a certain type of house is never enough house. It's the soul that needs surgery. What did Beyonce say? It's the soul that needs surgery. You have to figure out what in you makes you want these things, because you keep saying you're trying to prove it to yourself, but you should know you're good. You should know that you don't need Kanye West to dress you. But the thing is, you want other people to say Kanye doesn't need to dress you. You want other people to say you're an A-list celebrity. You want other people to say you're a creative director. You're the most amazing lawyer. You're the most amazing fashion brand owner. You want other people to say that. And that's a question for, like, why? Why? Kourtney's sitting there and she's like, why would you do that? Like, You don't need this. If you knew it was going to cause static, why even do it? You're better. You're bigger than this. I actually think Kourtney was giving Kim tens when she was saying, like, why would you need this? Like, true. But like I said, I still don't think this is anything worth, I don't think Kim is fully in the wrong, because at the end of the day, they are a business. And like I said, Kim has always been Kim. You know what? Like, Kourtney can't all of a sudden be like, why you like this? She's always been like this. That was her putting all y'all on her back and taking y'all to the promised land. It was because she had this type of drive. That is why y'all are where y'all are. So you can't be mad at the drive now that, she did something you don't like. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Those are my thoughts. But like, girl, they beefing over Dolce and Gabbana. But they beefing over something, like I said in the last video, they're beefing over something a lot bigger. Kourtney has never wanted her name attached to these girls. She never has. And now that she's with Travis, she sees an even bigger reason why her name doesn't need to be attached to these girls, because Travis has his own name. So she's like, I can really separate myself from you guys. And so when her wedding is attached to Kim, it's just like, I'm trying everything in my power to get away from you girls. And here y'all come. And it's just like, maybe you shouldn't feel that way about your family. And that's what I guess Kourtney won't really say, is that she's never wanted her name attached to theirs. And even more so now, she doesn't see a reason for her name to be attached to theirs in every single way. And that's a conversation they need to have, but it's so much deeper. She's always felt this way. They've always felt this way about one another. Anyways, I wish them nothing but whatever the hell. I don't have a dog in the fight with Kourtney and Kim. Like, they both a little wrong and they both a little right. We can move on to Kim and Kroy. Kroy Biermann and Kim Zolciak. They have decided to call off their divorce. And a lot of people are shocked by the news. I am not shocked by the news. I have never seen two people who deserve each other more. And I think I say that in a derogatory way. Kim and Kroy are literally perfect for each other. When Kim and Kroy first got together, a lot of people couldn't believe Kroy would be with Kim. Like, Kim is just so different from him. Kim is going to change Kroy, like all this stuff. But I always thought, I just don't think you guys understand who Kroy is as a person. I think Kroy and Kim are more alike than people like to give them credit. I think the fact that Kroy would be with a Kim shows that he likes certain aspects of Kim's life. That's why I push back on this idea that people were saying that Kim depleted his bank account, Kim ruined this man's life and all this stuff. Kroy would be just as broke if he was by himself. Kroy would be just as broke. Kroy would actually be broker, because if you really do the math, tardy for the party checks is what was paying their bills for after he was no longer in the NFL. Who was getting them checks? That was Kim. That was Kim getting them checks. That was Kim during the sponsorships. Kroy was not clocking into a job, allegedly, because I really don't know if he was clocking into a job. He was not clocking into a job. So who the hell was paying their bills? That was Kim. It was Kim bringing in the money. So I think this idea that Kroy's life is just destitute because of Kim. Please, when the last time Kroy had a job? And then Kim would have left Kroy a long time ago if money was the reason why she was with Kroy. I just think people are reading that situation completely wrong. Kroy ain't been in the NFL in forever, and Kroy was not in the NFL for that long. Like, that money has run dry a long time ago. The money that Kroy made ran dry a long time ago. Kim was spending her money. Kim was spending her money all up in them casinos and stuff. She was spending her tardy for the party money, her sponsorship money. That's what she was doing. Then when both of those wells ran dry, that's what you get now. But this idea that, oh my God, she just ruined Kroy's life. If you let me tell it, so that means allegedly, for the past 5-6 years, they was on borrowed time anyway, and that's what the little bit of money that Kim was bringing in. Like, Kroy has not had a steady check since. So please spare me with that. And then when you get the reports that have come out since that divorce filing where people are talking about Kroy's finances anyway, like, be serious. Kim was with Kroy while he was broke for quite a while for y'all to sit up here and being like, Kim was just with Kroy for the money. They like each other. Like I said, they enable one another. Like, they both have bad spending habits. They both need to stay out the casino. They enable one another. And so I think, if you let me tell, the reason why this divorce was called off, because it's just like, we can be bad together. We can be bad together. Sometimes it's I can be bad all by myself, but sometimes it's we can be bad together. Like, where nobody else is gonna be with us. Our debt is too long. Nobody is remarrying us. Like, our debt is too long. Nobody is taking on that debt through marriage. Like, y'all might as well stay together. And then with them calling the police on each other, all of that back and forth, they just like both of our skeletons getting drug out the closet. Do we have enough money to get a divorce? Like, divorces ain't cheap. Do we have enough money to get a divorce? Neither of us gonna get alimony because we both broke. So, like, what is it? We might as well be broke together. That's what it's giving to me. Why not be broke together? They got all them goddamn kids. And it's just like, why not figure this out together? And then when it comes to earning potential, Kim has more earning potential than Kroy has. Like, what can Kroy go do? At least Kim can find her way on a little reality show. Fox is doing all these stupid random reality shows, taking celebrities to Mars and all types of stuff like that. Like, there's all little stupid reality shows. Kim can find herself a little check here, there, dabble, maybe do a little sponsorship here, there, dabble, start a little YouTube channel, start a little podcast. Like, you never know. There's all type. Kroy can't do that. And so I just don't like this idea. It's just because y'all hate women and y'all hate Kim. And there are valid reasons to hate Kim. Kim is too much. Kim, I always say this. I love Kim on Housewives. I always will. But I love Kim on Housewives because she's insufferable. Like, she's insufferable. She's not a good person. But even with that being said, I just think this idea that she just was sitting up, kicking her feet up, and just living off of Kroy for the past decade and some, I'm just like, that's just not true. Kroy did not play in the NFL. I watched Tardy for the Party. Kroy didn't have a job most of Tardy for the Party. Kroy did not have a job for most of Tardy for the Party. So therefore, what money was he bringing in? Whatever money he brought in from the NFL, they were spending just as quick. They were spending just as quick. Like, be serious. So something for the past 6-7 years had to be doing something for them. And God knows they was probably just running up debt. I do not know. But like, those Tardy for the Party checks was coming because of Kim, and that's where they were making most of their money for most of their marriage. Let's be clear. Her biggest fuck up was actually listening to Kroy. I believe it was Kroy the reason why she got off of Real Housewives of Atlanta. So that is alleged because I do not know, but I believe Kroy is why she got off of Real Housewives of Atlanta. That was listening to his dumb ass, because she should have stayed her ass right there. She could still be on Real Housewives of Atlanta right now. She could have had Tardy for the Party checks, Real Housewives of Atlanta checks. She could be making $500,000 a season from Real Housewives of Atlanta right now. But she got off too quick listening to Kroy telling you don't need them girls. And now look. So I say go for it. Y'all broke asses might as well be together anyway. Y'all both broke as hell anyway. Y'all might as well be together. I don't know what to tell you. Let's move on to Latasha Scott and Tamika Scott from Escape. I only want to talk about them because I have seen some people be like, why is Tamika bringing up all of their family drama and all that? Y'all are weird. Tamika was in a very toxic situation with everything going on with her sister, her husband, and her mama. Like, very toxic. Tamika is finally being able to speak her truth. She finally feels like she does not have to depend on these people for a livelihood. For so long, those people over there, Tamika, that husband, and the mama, have said that she will never be nothing without them. And she finally has a platform to speak. And for y'all to sit up here and be like, she need to stop telling family business, that's why y'all family lives are fucked up. Because y'all feel like y'all have to protect people who literally would throw you under the bus the minute you get a chance. So she has to protect them, but they've done nothing to protect her. They just stolen her money. She had to get a restraining order out on her sister and her husband. And her mama is over there telling her she going to hell and she not godly. All that's alleged, because I don't know if I repeated that all correctly. But yeah, all of those things happen. And she's supposed to protect them. She's supposed to protect them. Oh no, Latasha is getting everything she deserves. I have never seen karma work so well and so quickly. Because here is the thing, what Latasha realized is, you should have realized is, when bad things always happen to you, when you always seem to pull the shit end of the stick, it's probably because luck just isn't in your favor. Some people have a lot of luck. For example, Candy. Candy is someone who is very lucky. She's just a lucky person. She does things at the right time. She gets in the right situation. Of course, there's some skill that goes there, but Candy is extremely lucky, right? They find themselves in good situations. Latasha, you've never been lucky. You've never been lucky. The album you wanted to put out when you was leaving Escape didn't come out. Then Escape didn't want you back. Then Candy didn't want to come back. Then, like, nothing seems to work out for you. But for some reason, looking at your track record, you decided to go for the gusto. You were going to give these bitches, SWV and Escape, your ass to kiss on a reality show, and you thought you were going to put out a gospel album, and you thought everything was going to work. You were about to be Beyonce. That's what you thought. You thought you were going to have your moment. But nothing else before worked. Nothing else before work, but you thought you just were going to have everything work in your favor, and you bit off more than you could chew. You bit off more than you could chew. You jumped and you hit your head on the fucking ceiling. That is what fucking happened. And what can you do? You're not a lucky person. You've never been a lucky person. Your entire career is where it is because you've never had luck on your side. So if you never had luck on your side, what made you think this was going to work? You getting everything you deserve. You wanted to be nasty as hell and hide your hand, and look at you. Just I just want to know how many records did the gospel album sell? That's all I want to know. I want to see the gospel record numbers, because I know them things in the trap. That thing went double aluminum foil. Oh, Real Housewives of New York City is back. Real Housewives of New York City is back. And I want Real Housewives of New York City to do well, because I want them to do the same thing in Atlanta. A lot is riding on Real Housewives of New York City being good. If you do not know, New York City did a complete overhaul. We have all new girls, different age bracket. It's just a whole new show, new meat. I hope that this works so the same thing can happen in Real Housewives of Atlanta. Real Housewives of Atlanta needs to completely be chopped. I've said it a million times, but it has to completely go. Speaking of Real Housewives of Atlanta, girl, Kenya baby daddy, Kenya husband, he is taking Kenya through the ringer. What can we learn from this? Do not just be marrying men. I think what we can learn from this is do not just be marrying men. I bet if Kenya could go back in time, she would just have that baby with Mark and go about her goddamn day. You think these men are doing you such a favor when they marry you. I guess Kenya thought maybe she was over the hill. Like, I'm happy to have someone. She thought Mark was attractive, and she thought she had her a good man. So much so that she got kicked off of Real Housewives of Atlanta for marrying him in private and not doing it on the show and all that stuff. You was about to lose your good job for Mark, and look what Mark is doing. Look what Mark is just taking you through the ringer. At this point, y'all been going through a divorce longer than y'all been married. Like, oh my goodness, this is this show. Don't just be out here marrying people. That's why all you people who get on Keke Palmer, Naomi Osaka, Rihanna, and et cetera, about not marrying their baby daddies, y'all can go to hell. And those ladies can get married whenever they want. That does not matter. What I'm saying is, do not be so quick to tell people they need to go get married just because they had a baby with somebody. Because baby, the logistics, the admin, you can love, I love. But baby, the admin, the logistics of what really comes with all that really ain't worth it. It really is not worth the goddamn time that is put into it when you have money the way certain people have money. Then Kenya don't even have money like those people I just named have money. And look what she going through. They gonna fight you for every dollar, nickel, and penny. Last but not least, on Monique Samuels and Chris Samuels getting a divorce, that was a long time coming. For all the people who are just like, oh my God, Chris finally free of Monique. Back to y'all hating women. I know y'all don't like Monique, but Monique ain't want to be married to Chris for a long time. Monique has always been miserable in that marriage. She has showed it on every single season of Potomac she's been on. That Love and Marriage show, they said she was just as miserable. That was a long time coming in that, like, she didn't want to be with Chris the entire time. So that's no gotcha to Monique. Like, ooh, you're not going to be able to spend his money no more. Monique ain't never wanted to be with that man and ain't want to be with that man for long. I don't know. I'm not going to say she never wanted to be with him, but you always saw that Monique was miserable, okay? And that Chris this was kind of miserable to be married to. But that's that on that. Anyways, I will see you guys in next week's Tuesday video, well, Wednesday video, because it's Wednesday today, where we talk about some more mess. I will see you guys on Sunday for Kenya Has Thoughts, though.